What is MR340? That's a question I asked about 1 year ago, and I found out. It's a paddle race across the state of Missouri, and it's 340 miles. Ultra distance paddling is a real thing. Crap. At that moment, I knew it was all over for me. This is what I would train for. Let me give you a brief introduction. The Missouri River 340 is a paddle race that starts at Call Point in Kansas City and follows the length of the Missouri River to St. Charles, Missouri. It's the longest continuous, non-stop paddle event in the United States with an 86-hour cutoff. March of 2020, I took up kayaking and fell in love with the water. The great thing about paddle sports is the variety of ways you can experience it. Kayak, canoe, row, stand-up paddle, prone, and it gets even more complicated when you add subcategories like surf ski kayaks, sea kayaks, sit on top kayaks, pedal kayaks, solo canoes, tandem canoes, river canoes, inflatables. The list just goes on and gets more complicated with gear like paddles and so on. You can make the most simple thing complicated, no matter what it is. See, my background is running. I've been doing it for 24 years in just about every distance and format.
Oh, you did it! Yes!
The 100-mile trail ultra marathon distance being my favorite. I've completed about over 55 ultras, so the MR340 was like an extension of this with my newfound passion. I was really curious to compare this kind of event to the difficulty of a mountain trail 100. Coming into a sport like this with so many different boat choices can mean a high rate of error when trying to get it right. Basically, what you enjoy the most. That means trying a lot of different boats. Trust me, and I tried a lot of different boats. I went from a 9.5 wreck kayak up to a 19-foot surf ski and even a tandem. Spent a lot of time, money, and effort trying to find the right boat for this race and just overall for me and experiencing the water. I traveled long distances, asked a lot of questions, and agonized over details. No matter what kayak I tried, I seemed to get lower back problems. I spent countless hours foam rolling, stretching, researching. I couldn't seem to shake the issue. I asked others on advice and found the suggestion of giving a canoe a shot. So I did. I traveled to buy a solo canoe and then an even lighter one. And this is where I discovered the beauty of this single blade and the heritage of Bill Mason's red canoe.
It's a feeling of almost euphoria to get out here, and I've got a canoe load of food and I don't have to be back by any set time. I've gone on canoe trips where I didn't have to be back until the snow started to fly or the lakes froze over.
I found that the kneeling position was working well for me, but it wasn't totally right. There were things that still bothered me. In order for a solo canoe to be truly efficient over long distances, you need a rudder. And if it's too light, you need to trim it correctly, and plus high winds can create issues, so a cover can be needed for that. And yeah, kneeling for a long period of time does get hard. Now these are things to add to a complexity of something beautiful and simple, like a canoe. I wasn't feeling confident that this would work either. Race day was getting really close and I had to figure this out. My wife Lori showed me a video of a stand-up paddler doing long distance events, and it seemed to click with me. SUP, or stand-up paddle, often gets the image of the bro culture, but this countered it. People were doing ultra distances on boards, and compared to other crafts, it was as simple as one can get. Well, besides prone paddling. The thing I love about running is the simplicity it offers. Paddling can get complicated and confusing really fast, and stand-up paddle provides the simplicity and minimalism I was looking for after trying so many different types of boats. I also play the strength of mine from ultramarathon running. One reason I avoid stand-up paddle for so long is that I was afraid of it taking away from my running performance. Standing and balancing would surely make a running workout the next day harder and slower. But I enjoyed paddling so much that I began to not care anymore and figured it would eventually make me a stronger runner. So there I was. I decided to give stand-up paddle a shot. It was end of April, and the race was July 20. Not a lot of time. I spent the previous months training, spending time and money trying to find the right boat, and I was totally clueless as to the specifics of stand-up paddle. If you think kayaks, canoes, or paddles in general are confusing, this is another giant rabbit hole.
And curiosity often leads to trouble. Goodbye, Dinah. Goodbye.
So I decided to go to my local paddle shop, Riverbound Sports, and explain my ultramarathon background, but left my true intentions of the lunacy of picking up a board with 2 months of training to paddle 340 miles across the state of Missouri. I truly only had been on a board a few times, and those were inflatables and a rental at the local lake. Heck, well, what do I have to lose? I was already attempting the hardest thing I've ever done with no prior experience in this discipline. Let's go for a race board. Let's go all in on an SIC RS 14 by 24.5. I figure let's not waste all this time like I had with kayaks, buying and selling. If I start here, I can avoid the recommended process, which is recommended for a reason, going from 30 inches wide to 28, 26, and so forth. Hey, I'm a good runner and trail running requires balance. I'll be fine. Previous inflatable felt stable. This can't be much different. The first true stand-up paddle was on May 2nd. I learned that balancing on a 24.5 was considerably more difficult and humbling experience than I imagined. The difficulty in something so simple just intrigued me so much. But it did feel right to me. I was concerned but utterly addicted at the same time. I had learned an entirely new type of paddle sport along with the gear specifics that go along with it in just over 2 months' time. It took a lot of focus to keep upright, and I couldn't even look to my sides and back comfortably at first. I leaned on the experience of local paddlers, asking questions, but without too much reference to my true intentions. I researched like mad, paddled several times a week, worked on technique, and it was about 2 to 3 weeks in until I truly started to feel comfortable where I could zone out and not focus so much on what I was doing. That was a good sign. Still not a lot of time, but this was a turning point. I kept paddling and running, making things as difficult as I could. I would do a 16-mile training paddle, go to work where I stood all day, then a 16-mile run the next morning, all in the heat of the summer in Arizona. I knew as long as I kept at it, I might be able to do it. But it's such a delusional idea. I had no business doing this. I did know that I needed to do something risky. It was inherent and I could feel it inside. And this is different, and it fit the bill. What do I have to lose? I contacted Scott Mansker, the race director, and changed my category from men's solo to stand-up paddle. Now this is real. The remaining weeks I began to feel more comfortable, continued my training while prepping the board and myself for the event. I was going to give this a shot. I knew I was going to be slower than most everyone out there, which isn't something I was used to coming from running. I would have to get comfortable being slower. My loose plan came together for race checkpoints, but giving context to something with no first-hand experience is really difficult. I used all my prior experience in ultra running to my benefit in planning for nutrition and long days. I fortunately know what works for me, one thing less I need to worry about, as if I didn't have enough already. The issue here is that I'm fast enough in running events, where hundreds I don't have to run through the night, and they also don't last several days. Sleep deprivation is going to be a real challenge for me here. Before you know it, I was tapering and enjoying all the phantom pains that go along with it. Lori was going to use her new Stellar S18R, and I had my SIC RS 24.5. It was time to make this real. We took our time on the way out, soaking up classic Americana along the way. Call Point. The journey to Call Point through preparing and training has been a journey in itself. And it was really nice to be there. Seeing the river for the first time, watching people unload their boats of different types, sizes, and colors. Paddlers truly reflect the diversity of craft used. There's no right or wrong way, just the way you choose to create your experience out there. It's a pretty tall order to paddle 340 miles without a crew, especially the first year. Crewing is very difficult, and it has its own set of challenges. I was able to coax my dad and nephew Dustin to drive from Michigan to help me out. I was asking a massive favor. While grateful, I was concerned. I was just grateful they were willing to do it. The thing about doing these events, whether you're a participant or supporting, are the trials and tribulations that will truly change you. That's what I want others to experience, and it's what I find to be incredibly important to our daily lives. It's what creates memorable experiences. It's finally race morning, and I'm stumbling around to prepare everything. Getting out on the water feels like its own mini challenge.
Keep going. You gotta.
Alright, thanks. See ya. Don't forget that coffee. Why isn't my GPS working right? This current seems to be pushing me away from the start. Do I have enough water and food? Where's Lori? Thousands of thoughts are racing through my mind, but the real mission was to get to St. Charles, the other side of the state, 340 miles away.
We're at start day. What time is it? Let's see. 6:53. 7 minutes until start. We're just waiting it out. They're already in the water. Yeah.
It's 7 a.m., and this is the solo start. The tandem start will be 1 hour later at 8 a.m.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I start about middle pack. Better to take it easy and let things unfold as they may. The challenge here is that the Kansas and Missouri converge at Call Point, and the water can be sporadic. Better to start further back this time in case of adrenaline-caused capsizes by other boats. It's 340 miles, no rush. Next up, 75 miles to Waverly, my first checkpoint, and meet up with my crew. The leaders are already small points in the distance, and I share some miles with fellow stand-up paddlers. Focus on drinking, eating, ignoring any phantom pains caused by my taper. This is going to be vastly further than any ultra event I've done, and I need to take care of myself. I won't be in the front this time. I need to relax and settle in. Can't finish my 6 liters of water too soon. It's humid here, but so has Arizona been with the monsoon season. It's thankfully partly cloudy and in the upper 80s. I try to focus on staying in the river current, but I'm not great at it, and my GPS hasn't loaded the race route correctly to tell me the best route. I rely on other paddlers for now. I start to feel competitive and see 2 stand-up paddlers further in the distance. All I want to do is catch them, but I know it's not wise. They're matching my pace, and it's a frivolous pursuit, but one that irritates me. Fastest Tams have already caught up, and there's going to be a lot of yo-yoing in the first part of the race. You just better get used to it. Waverly.
Go, Michael.
I make it to Waverly at 5:48 p.m. and notice another stand-up paddler stopping by the side of the checkpoint and taking off without launching. I can't afford to do this. I need more water, food, and a reset. It's been about 10 hours since the start. I check in on my phone. The volunteers precariously grab the front of my board, and I meet up with my dad and Dustin. I eat a hamburger, drink a Coke, and Dustin handles my water and anything else I thought of on my way here.
Get in there now. Are you going to want to stay?
No,
You're not going to sleep?
not at the moment.
Okay, because then we got to decide what we're going to do. And I don't know what Lori's going to do. Do you think?
Well,
I need to prepare for every possible scenario and have solutions in place. This is key. Lori has already passed through and is about 1 hour ahead of me. I take too much food with me, but better to have too much food than not enough, I think. Check out, back on the water.
You got it, or you need me to hold it in?
I think we got it. I'm just gonna try to turn this sucker around.
Next stop is Miami, 30 miles away.
All right.
You on?
I'm on. Thank you.
I'm paddling at about 6.5 to 7 miles an hour pace with the current, a nice boost that flat water does not afford me. It will be dark by the time I reach Miami. I don't have any specific plans for rest. I'm playing it by feel. I have no idea where I am placement-wise. I only care about the stand-up paddle category. It's difficult to be frequently passed by other boats, but I'd rather be standing than sitting. I try to draft off tandem canoes, but they're all too fast and don't provide much benefit. My camera setup, which hasn't been ideal, begins to require more maintenance than I want to put into it. The sun dips lower and lower, and the moon appears. It's the beginning of the first night. It's a beautiful thing. Miami.
Evening 1, night's winding down, 8:24 p.m. at the Miami checkpoint. We're just chilling right now, waiting for Michael and Laura to come in. We don't know what the night situation's looking like, but we're just riding it out, having a good time. They're crushing it, so that's good.
I make it to Miami and it's dark. Refuel, restock, body check. Lori has gone down for a few hours. I don't know where she is sleeping, but I'm told she isn't feeling great. She went out too fast. It's very easy to get caught up in the moment. I know. I'm feeling good and in race mode. I want to make these stops as fast as I can. Stopping eats up a lot of time, but I need to take care of myself. It's really death by 1,000 cuts. Be smart, it's a long way. I feel guilty about not checking in with Lori, but I'm so wrapped up in moving forward. She put a lot of time on me and can easily catch up with me. I take off and it's the middle of the night. The moon isn't full, but the orange glow it provides is spectacular. My next stop and checkpoint is Glasgow, about 37 miles away. The night has dramatically reduced the amount of paddlers on the water. I search for lights in the darkness. I've never paddled at night, and I fortunately meet up with a kayaker named Kate. She has her phone app with the river current and potential buoy locations on it. We chat away the hours. We match pace well, but she is motoring. I can tell she wants to get to Glasgow to get some rest and meet up with her husband. This is when I realize the dangers of the Missouri River buoys, flying down the river at what seems to be 7-mile-an-hour plus speeds. Metal contraptions that have no lights, some above water and some hidden below. They are used by the U.S. Coast Guard to mark the channel for barges and large craft. And they're attached to the riverbed on concrete sinkers with chain or rope. And as the river current pulls them, they pick up debris along the way. All of this can make their movements sporadic and dangerous for smaller craft. Listen and keep your eyes open for them, Kate says. How can I listen for them when all I can hear is my paddle pushing water or see them without any lights? Getting nailed by one of these would put a nice dent in your boat and knock you off board, a setback that no one is interested in. I think to myself, well, this is pretty freaking dangerous. No wonder the paddlers thin out at night. You think you can make some miles and take advantage of the cooler weather, but now you have to deal with sleep deprivation and buoys out to nail you? What kind of video game is this? Kate recommends an app to navigate at night. I'll download it at Glasgow. I'm gonna need it. There's not enough people to rely on anymore. Glasgow.
How do you feel? What are your feelings?
I'm sweaty. I'm tired. We're waiting for Michael. And, we're excited for him to come in. And I'm waiting for a cup of coffee tomorrow morning.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I make it through the night with Kate's help and arrive at Glasgow at 4:33 a.m. I pull into the boat dock. Short stay or long stay? My crew hasn't arrived yet. I beat them here. I don't know. Short stay? That's a relative question. Cell reception is bad and all I can do is empty and prepare my gear for when they arrive. I do eventually get a hold of them, and they're only about 4 minutes out. Luckily, I didn't waste too much time. I get the news and Lori has dropped at Miami, 104 miles in. That sucks. She has spent so much time preparing and planning for this thing. More than me by far. I know she'd be alright, but I feel sad, frustrated, selfish, and guilty. Should I have stopped at Miami and waited? Crap, it's in the past now. I need to move forward. My dad gets me a burrito, I drink some coffee, and Dustin resupplies me. I need to get back out there. It's 5:23 a.m. and I've spent a lot of time. I don't look forward to the sun rising, but I do hope I can get a second wind from it. My next stop is Cooper's Landing, 56 miles away. That's a long haul. I try to wrap my head around the fact that there will be another night of paddling, and maybe more. I didn't get a second wind, but instead I get a thick layer of fog as the sun rises. I downloaded the app Kate recommended to help with navigation, but it's not easy to see my phone standing up. It's pretty thick and I can't see either side of the river. I somehow get pushed into a wing dike, but make it out to find 2 women paddlers on surf skis asking if it meant to be going up current. Should have realized that with my speed at 1.5 miles an hour, but no, definitely I don't want to be going back to Glasgow. I have no clue as to how I got turned around. I do turn around and follow them as long as I can through the fog. Cool, let's add fog to the list of challenges here. The settling in of sleep deprivation with the fog, heat, humidity of the morning hours, this is messed up, and I'm really feeling it. On top of that, there are boils that appear near the wing dikes in the river. They randomly appear as I'm paddling it, essentially mini water cyclones that can throw you off balance, created by the sporadic shifting of sand and debris underwater. Just another thing to add to the list. I begin to take some breaks at sitting down on my board. Oh man, day 2, didn't sleep last night. 158 miles in. Pretty freaking tired. Sitting down to kind of maximize speed and rest my legs. I got to get to like 192 to my next checkpoint. So I got a ways. Oh man. So I might need to take some more caffeine or something. Because, ooh, it's pretty rough. It's hard to believe that there's another night, and I'm like not even, I'm getting close to halfway through, but holy cow, it's a long ways. My sitting setup is far from ideal, but it does provide a way to break up things. I discovered that sitting provides a break that amplifies sleep deprivations. Can't stop yawning. I briefly close my eyes as I paddle for some relief. I slap my face, breathe deeply. Anything to keep moving. There's no winning here. There's no relief paddling during the day. The night has its own dangers to deal with, and sitting makes me more tired. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I keep seeing things. Just keep paddling. All I want to do is lay in some grass and close my eyes for 15 minutes. I keep seeing kayakers up ahead, but as I get closer, it's only groups of dead trees emerging from the water. Just another hallucination. I approach a paddle stop, Franklin Island, at about 31 miles out from Glasgow. It looks like a great place to shove my face into the ground, but I can't stop. My crew isn't here. Stopping eats up too much time. I have to keep going, another 25 miles. I see tandem paddlers out, and I try to draft, but they're all too squirrely. It's too much effort. Can I order a 3-person canoe, please? The bluffs alongside the river are actually quite pretty, but I just want to get to Cooper's to lay on a cot and regroup. Lori will be there, and the fact that she will now help crew after her ordeal is incredible. I see a safety boat and ask how far Cooper's is. They say 12 miles. Feels like 120 to me. I'm just about over halfway done the race. What kind of joke is this? I don't know if I've ever wanted to sleep so bad right now in my life. I just need at least an hour just to lay down on a cot, on the ground, on the grass. I just want to go to bed and then somehow digest that I need to do this one more night. Hopefully only one more night. Oh my god, if it's 3 nights. Dude, this is fucking rough. It's the sleep deprivation. That's what it is. Oh my god, it's never ending river. Cooper's Landing. I see what seems like it could be Cooper's ahead, but with no reference, I don't know. I see 2 surf skis ahead in the far distance and they keep paddling past it. I guess that's not Cooper's? I switched to sitting for a bit. Stupid idea. That was Cooper's after all. Wasted time. I pull in and the current is strong into the boat launch. Thank God. It's around 2:11 p.m.
Paddle hard, paddle, paddle. Woo!
All right.
Lori's here and helps put me back together. Cooper's Landing is a pretty spot, but I can't stay long.
Yeah, get some speed in there. Yeah, it's great.
Fantastic.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I can't believe I have like half more to go.
Here, it's a body wipe.
They're killing it though.
Thank you. I just only appreciate all of you helping me. I'm pushing forward to push forward. I try to lay on a cot for 20 minutes, but it doesn't provide a huge benefit. It's hot and I've got too much going on in my head. food, water, toilet, Red Bull. Let's get back out in the water. It's 3 p.m. Soon I'll have another night ahead of me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you in a little while.
Have fun, don't die.
That's key. That's right.
Yeah.
Jeff City is 27 miles away. Jefferson City. As I approach Jeff City, I see a bridge and Capitol building. I pull in at around 8 p.m. Food, water, Red Bull. My crew is feeling it. All I can do here is be grateful for them helping me out on this crazy journey. We start doing some projections on my finish time. If all goes well, I can do sub 60, which would be about 7 p.m. the next day. I shoot for between 4 and 7 tomorrow. As I prepare to leave Lori, she notices my white stern safety light is missing. She races up with Dustin to find the light she used on her kayak, but no luck. A fellow paddler overhears and he has an extra light and Velcro. The kindness of other paddlers, I just can't believe it. I need to be more prepared. I have to leave. Dustin helps me launch and it's 8:28 p.m.
Run through your barge. Go watch the green light under bridges, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good luck. Last night, kill it.
You heard me, right?
Yeah, I heard you. Bye.
Love you.
Much love.
Have fun, don't die again.
I make my way under the Jeff City Bridge as I paddle past the Capitol building as the sun dips low in the sky. It's beautiful in its own way. What am I doing? Next checkpoint and crew meetup is Hermann, 47 miles away. My plan to paddle to Hermann slowly evaporates as hallucinations take a toll on me. My depth perception is shot. All the trees become elephants parading along the coastline. I team up with another kayaker who's also feeling it. We share miles together and others join to make a draft train. I quickly realize that I can't make it this 48-mile stretch. The others in my party are also stopping at Chamois. Paddle stop about halfway. I take their lead. I arrive at Chamois and shove my face in the mosquito-infested grass. I set an alarm for 20 minutes. While I'm getting up, a safety boat volunteer approaches me and is concerned. She makes me give her my race number and sternly says she'll be following me. I take it as a challenge. This 20-mile stretch is really tough. It's right in the 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. range that hurts the most. I'm slapping myself on the face to help stay awake, yelling loudly. I must seem crazy. Just keep paddling. I start to see lights far ahead in a pattern above the water. Lori calls me and tells me that's the bridge where Hermann is. It's about 8 miles away. I decide to paddle as hard as I can toward the lights to stay awake and tell myself the harder I paddle, the faster I can get there. As I get closer, I notice fog is quickly appearing and the bridge is quickly disappearing. Soon I'm totally engulfed and can't see past the front of my board. The lights used to guide me are gone. I'm following my phone GPS map, and there's a spot on the right where the river turns that I could get lost in. But I seem to be on the right path. It wasn't until I looked back and the lights appeared again. Why am I facing the wrong direction? How on earth did I get turned on again? I was paying close attention to the GPS. Man, whatever. I changed direction and head for lights in the fog. I sit down because I can't see a damn thing. The chance of hitting something is really high. Hermann. I make it to Hermann at 5:08 a.m. It's still dark and the fog is really thick. Dustin helps me bring in the board and Lori is there to brief me.
Yeah, that was entertaining. I got in there and I looked behind me and there was the bridge. I'm like, how did I get completely in the wrong direction? That was kind of crazy. I looked behind me and there was the bridge. I'm like, wait, what happened?
My plan was to get some food, coffee, and move on, but as it gets lighter out, the fog gets really bad. You can't see anything. A kayaker tries to leave but ends up coming back because it's so bad. Lori tells me another paddleboard had gone through not far ahead when I arrived. It's frustrating to lose time here, but I decide it's not safe and use the time to lay down for about 30 minutes, hoping that in this time it clears up. I can't rest long. It just makes me more tight and more pain settles in. I console myself that others are in the same situation. The conditions don't change much, but I notice some other boats prepared to head out. I might as well give it a shot. I beat them to it. I head out and do my best to follow my phone's GPS. Apparently not well enough because I somehow end up seeing a tandem canoe heading toward me. I went in a circle and made it back to Hermann somehow. More time and energy lost. Should have been so antsy. I ask and they let me follow them through the fog. They're race veterans, so I feel at peace with this. It's not easy drafting them, but any company is nice as temporary as it might be. My plan is to make it to the Washington paddle stop, about 29 miles away.
All right, it's day 3. It's kind of the final stretch. Super foggy in the morning here. Almost didn't make it to my checkpoint, and then when I left that checkpoint, I had to wait for some fog to somewhat clear. Kind of getting a little lost, teaming up with or getting help from a tandem 2-person canoe. It's super helpful. I can still see them in the distance. The sun burned off all the fog, but last night was rough. Super tired. I haven't slept very much at all. I mean, under an hour. Not too hot today. Yesterday was just hot and I was tired, and it's a rough one. Probably gonna be rough again today. Man, this is the real deal.
It's a slog. But I arrive at Washington and the current is incredibly strong into the boat launch. It takes a lot of strength to get the board into the launch, but I manage. My dad and Dustin are there with life jackets on, ready to catch my board just in case I get pulled away.
Got him.
That was good. I wasn't sure if that was gonna work out. Don't let go.
No, I'm not letting go.
I get an update that I may be in a podium spot and I hightail it out of there. My plan was to lay down there for 15 minutes, but now, fueled by this news, I just want to keep pushing. My plan is to skip Klondike, checkpoint at mile 311, about 40 miles away from here. As I'm paddling this section, sleep deprivation is getting really difficult.
The heat is just really hard with the humidity and sleep deprivation. Keep looking at places to lay down. I just need to power through. I'm going to change positions.
And I decide that I can't make it to the finish line from here. I have to stop at Klondike, checkpoint mile 311. I pull in feeling pretty toasted, eat a sandwich, set an alarm for 20 minutes, bury my face in the grass. 15 minutes go by and Lori calls me asking, what's going on? I guess I'm getting up now. I grab as many cold towels provided by Nature Conservancy as I can and press on. The 15 minutes wasn't much, but it's enough. The volunteer tells me that it's 27 miles to the finish, which is about 4.5 hours. I couldn't mentally grasp doing this without stopping, so I'm glad I did. It's hot and humid out, but the cold towels help. I briefly chat with other boats as they press to the finish. I'm switching between sitting and standing to break things up.
All right. Looks like 6 miles left. It's been a thing. I would say I've never been more tired in my life.
Finally, city structures begin appearing, and I ask a tandem canoe team where the finish is. I see a bridge, and it's a quarter mile on the left. Look at the time, 4:50 p.m. I desperately want to get there before 5 p.m. for a sub 59. I paddle like hell. I didn't come this far for nothing. I'll empty every energy tank I need to do this. I need to make a turn to the launch with the current pushing me away from it. I decide to move back on the board to make this turn easier, but my feet feel cemented to the board and almost biff it. I haven't failed this entire race, not worth the risk. I use all the power I have and bring it home.
Yeah, Michael!
You got it.
What's your boat number?
1213.
1213.
Yeah, Michael!
Can't believe I just paddled across the entire state of Missouri. Lori, my dad, and Dustin are there, and have gone through their own journey supporting me. It's just as difficult supporting as it is paddling, and I can't be more thankful. I want to give them more appreciation, but I hope the experience and stories are worth it for them.
No, that was definitely the hardest thing I think I found, for sure. Sleep deprivation is a real challenge, for sure.
My board looks like someone took a huge dump on it. And my feet look like Freddy Krueger's face.
So once you're done with the pain of that, it's gonna really hurt in a couple of days.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Ugh, just the normal casualties of 340 miles on a stand-up paddleboard. I'm so thankful to finish with a time of 58 hours and 58 minutes. I finished 4th place in the men's stand-up paddle solo division. It would have been nice to podium, but I'm thankful to just finish so well the first time out, with so little time preparing on a stand-up paddleboard. I'm absolutely addicted and cannot wait to come back with a list of changes for next year. The MR340 was the coolest experience I've ever had. It was a lot more than I expected, but in all the right ways. I was looking to compare the difficulty to running a Mountain Trail 100, but what I came away with is that they're just different. They're each difficult in their own unique way. I do know though that at this point, if I did choose between the two to compete in, I would definitely choose this kind of event every time. So what did I learn through this year-long journey of preparing and finally participating? Well, I went down multiple giant rabbit holes in regards to learning and growing in different paddling disciplines, but I don't regret a second of it. I learned the versatility of a kayak, canoes taught me heritage, and stand-up paddleboards revealed perspective. On this journey, I found out what I prefer most and why. It just took a little longer than I expected. And the most important thing of all is I learned balance, figuratively and literally. I want to note that I'm likely an edge case when it comes to a very short time frame picking up stand-up paddling discipline and jumping into such an extreme event. I did have some advantage in many years of ultramarathon running that helped me when bringing it over to this kind of event and a stand-up paddleboard. One thing is for certain, paddling is a sport I have definitely fallen in love with, and I cannot wait to do more. I am forever grateful for being open to new things because you never know what will stick with you. I encourage you to do the same. That's all for now, and until my next adventure, thank you for watching.